This is a Keihan TV sports break. We don't have much time, so let's get right down to it. So the weekend saw the beginning of the opening round of the NBA playoffs. Every series has one game in the books, so let's go around the horn. On Saturday, the defending champion Cleveland Cavaliers began the defense of their title against Paul George and the Indiana Pacers. The Cavs held on at the end for a one-point victory, a game that was highlighted by the final play where the Cavs forced Paul George to pass the ball, but did not receive a return pass from CJ Miles, who instead bricked the potential game-winning shot. In the heat of such an intense moment, the Pacers were caught in the intensity of it and mishandled the final play. George was critical of his teammates in the post-game press conference for not making sure he got the final shot. The end of the game perhaps overshadowed yet another poor performance from the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are looking to regain their form as they make their way towards their inevitable showdown with the Warriors in the finals. Moving on, the 6th-seeded Milwaukee Bucks outscored the 3rd-seeded Toronto Raptors 51-32 in the second half to steal home court advantage behind a monster 28-point performance from the Greek freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo. The Raptors struggled mightily, including an abysmal 4-point performance from Kyle Lowry, who failed to compliment teammate DeMar DeRozan. They will seek to bounce back and get back into the series in Game 2 this Tuesday. In San Antonio, the Spurs overcame a slow start to comfortably defeat the Memphis Grizzlies behind a strong performance from their star forward, Kawhi Leonard. The first half saw Marc Gasol break a franchise record for most points in a half, but it was not enough to see off a balanced Spurs attack. San Antonio rested all their starters in the final quarter with a lead as big as 36 late, which is sure to be an advantage for the aging players on the team with Game 2 scheduled for tonight. The Clippers and Jazz headlined Saturday night at Staples, and it did not disappoint. The Jazz survived an injury to Rudy Gobert on the first play of the game to win the game, but it didn't come easy. The Clippers rallied late to tie the game via a Chris Paul floater down the lane, reminiscent of his Game 7 winner against the Spurs 2 years ago. But 13 seconds remained on the clock, and it was 35-year-old Joe Johnson who won the game with a late floater that took a bounce on the rim and fell into the bucket, breaking the collective hearts of Clipper Nation. The Clippers' late push to take the 4th seed and home court advantage from the Jazz was all for naught as they handed it right back to them and now face extinction and a massive Game 2 matchup tomorrow night. Losing the first 2 games of this series at home is sure to be a death blow for the Clip Show. Yesterday, Paul Millsap was critical of the Washington Wizards' physical nature, calling it MMA, not basketball. John Wall had a playoff career-high 32 points for the Wizards, who held serve at home in Game 1. The Hawks had a strong performance from Dennis Schroeder, but he didn't receive enough help to turn the tide. They will attempt to tie this series on Wednesday. Up in Oakland, Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum went off for 41 and 34 respectively, but it was not enough to overcome Kevin Durant and the Golden State Warriors. The game got a little heated as Draymond Green got into a trash-talking battle with Damian Lillard, surely an attempt to get into his head and take any possible advantage in the series and shoot down any possible chance for a Trailblazers upset. Game 2 will take place this Wednesday. Elsewhere in Boston, the Chicago Bulls put in a strong effort to take out the Celtics in Game 1. An unconventional 1-8 matchup that was seen as a potentially troublesome matchup for the number 1 seeded Celtics. The glaring stat was the Bulls' 53-36 edge on the boards, in addition to Jimmy Butler's 30 points. Isaiah Thomas scored 30 for the Celtics, who made it to the game following his sister's death just 1 day prior after a tragic car accident. It was an emotional game for Thomas, who had all the support from Celtics fans at the TD Garden, but it was not enough to overcome the Bulls and now face a must-win game this Tuesday, or must face going back to Chicago in an 0-2 hole. And finally, Unlike Saturday night's headliner, Sunday's much-anticipated matchup between MVP candidate rivals James Harden and Russell Westbrook did not live up to expectations. Neither one lit up the hardwood last night, but the Rockets were the better team and won comfortably. But Westbrook will have a chance at redemption this Wednesday night. They'll do it again in Houston. Well, to all the teams that lost over the weekend, the good news is that it's only 1-0 with all still to play for, as they say on the football pitch. But there are sure to be more twists and turns as we make our way through this journey we call the NBA playoffs. That is all for this edition of Sports Break. Keep it tuned to Kayhan TV Studios on YouTube or Facebook for future updates. Don't trip, we'll be back. Till then, make sure you pay your cable bill so you can watch the rest of the playoffs. Have a wonderful day.